there's so many great people that I actually follow. And I know you do too. I hate name dropping, but one I am going to say one, and he's doing such an amazing job. I spoke to him, I reached out to him. It's Tim Ross, and to see how God is definitely using him, and it hit home for me because I know what it did for me. Right? We don't have that in our sector. We don't have that in...
Have what?
The podcast, the
voice.
The voice to open up,
right?
This room to be healed or to find healing or to be directed or to be a source of healing, to be a source to, talk about your hurts to, okay, so I had a lot of these moments where I would watch his podcast, The Basement, and I would be like, yo, I go through the same thing too. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, that felt so good, man.
No, it's true. I only watched one of his podcasts, but it was the one with the movie guy,
Devon Franklin. I watched that too.
That was the last one. But I realized, even listening to his story, how much it related
to you,
like how much I was able to connect to it, and just to be able to hear these people come down to earth. Yeah, it's almost like it's reachable. Like you can reach out.
That part.
Reach out and touch it.
You probably grew. Well, of course you grew up in that same, but I don't know if you went through that same, reality or epiphany. But I remember growing up, seeing pastors, seeing leaders, and I'm like, man, I wish one day I could. I wish one day I could just, they felt so far to touch. Like they felt like they were sent by God, and because they were sent by God, you could never say hi.
Can't even get close to them.
I'm not clean enough to be close to them.
Right.
I'm not worthy enough to talk to them because we don't have the same verbiage. And that's just the truth. And sometimes it goes down to, if I could be real honest, I don't look the part. So my color, even though we're black.
Your color or your hair? My
hair and my color, I gotta say that. But my hair played a big role.
Especially in our culture.
And I'm not idolizing Tim Ross, but him and the different leaders, remnant of leaders that's coming up, they don't look like
your regular
leaders.
I posted something online a while ago. I posted, what did it say? It was along the lines of, this generation is not looking for a mask, or they're not looking for the facade. Yeah, they want the real thing. It's either you give them the real thing, or they go the other way.
Facts.
They're like super extreme. It's like either you give me God, or you give me something else. But I don't want the middle. I want the truth. Yeah. And I'm not gonna take the fluff. Man, like this generation right now is so bold, kid.
They crazy bold. They crazy bold, and that's that word. I've been hearing that word a lot. Fluff.
Yeah.
Fluff. Fluff. I was writing a paper, and it's like, you have to, and I'm relearning how to do certain things. And as I'm writing a paper, it's like, right here, all here is fluff. I'm like, fluff? Who says fluff? But it's true. It's all fluff, and they're not with that fluff.
Nah, they're not.
They're not with the fluff.
But honestly, I don't think none of us should be.
Yeah.
I think bringing in today's church, I think in today's church, if we grew up in a church with no fluff, where you could keep it real, where it's not about the looks and I guarantee you this generation or my generation would be totally different.
Absolutely.
Totally
absolutely different. Absolutely. This that part you said, keeping it real,
Yeah.
At my house, in my church, we would have this on our table where we eat. It would symbolize, me and my kids, we would symbolize the table where this is where we talk. This is where everything when we eat, we don't put the TV we don't put the TV on unless or no gadgets, anything like that. Unless we all agree we're gonna watch this together. And we're going to either watch this video or we're going to hear this thing together, right? Yeah. That's what we do on the table. But when the table is dirty too, it symbolized, yo, we have a lot of clog in our lives. We need to clear the table because we're not able to talk.
We need it clean.
We need it clean because if now we're saying something, we're sitting across and the table's dirty.
You're distracted.
Or something is blocking us from the. It's like almost like me and you and God, or me and God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but me bringing that up is being real, right? If church could be real, right? So I realized, and it came up in my house. In church, when you do wrong, it's like you need to build up. You need to build up so much courage to say, I messed up.
I'm struggling.
And it came in my house, and on the table was a moment that something happened with my son. He was introduced to explicit films in school. From a student. So he didn't know how to handle that, but he's seen it, and his mannerisms started to change. Things started to change. And we had to come to the bottom of it. So we went on the table, and when we got on the table, it was me, my wife, and my son. And we sat there, and we talked. And I saw the table. I said, son, this is the table. You see how there's mess here? Let's clean it out so we can talk. And we started, and when I said, let's put it to the side. And there was a straight passage. So let's to the side. And we was able to talk, and I said, there's a lot of things that was said on the table. But at the end of the day, the takeaway, here was a great big thing. I told him, I know in church we was taught to build courage to say this is what we did wrong, this is what we did, this is what we did, you know what I'm saying? But you don't need to do that over here in this church, right? Say whatever it is you're going through, put it on the table. Let's figure it out together, right?
Let's work it out together.
So I'm holding his hands, and he's sitting across from me. And as he's sitting across from me, and he's looking at me, he's like, okay, Dad. But I can tell the guilt was eating him up. And he started crying. And I was like, whoa. And I started crying. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, hold my hand. But it was such an amazing, and my wife was right there looking at two male figures.
Wow.
Interacting with each other like it's father and son. Just like father and son.
Yeah.
I'm showing this grace to my son. You don't need to be strong.
Yeah.
You don't need to build this courage to tell me the truth. I ain't gonna change with you. It made it so easy for him to put everything on the table. Wow. And since then, it's been almost a year or 2 years now. This kid's a different kid. But imagine if we had that in church. If we could be real. That's what this all this. If we were able to be real, not build up courage. Like after they tell you this, of course, there's going to be procedures and such things to to go through the restoring phase, the delivering phase, restoration phase. I get that, but they shouldn't have to go through the pops and circumstances or whatever through loops just to tell you I'm struggling. I need somebody.
I'm struggling.
And not to go back to my man's Tim Ross, but that's what the basement did for me. Like, it made me okay with me not being okay, and it's okay.
Yeah. The
love that you had for me, it made me be okay. Yeah. My community, there was a point in time in the beginning, I thought I was disqualified. I thought God was never going to use me. And I was saying it. Okay?
Speaking it.
I believed it. I spoke it. I'm disqualified. That's it. Harold, that's it.
Yeah.
Which brings a lot of things. I'm seeing it. That's why I was living under a rock. So much layers, So all the time I thought I was disqualified when my community, podcasters, my community.
But it's something about community I think that really stands out, and we were talking about this upstairs. Um, what about community? What is it in the community that allowed you to experience redemption?
Redemption.
It was. It was. It was the love.
Yeah.
It was essentially the same experience you had between you and your son.
Mm-hmm.
It was the love.
Love, for sure.
I'm not going to beat him for something he experienced. I'm not going to try to beat it out of him. I'm not going to try to judge on him. I'm not going to try to judge on him. I'm not going to try to destroy him. It was the love of a father that carried him through. And I think, whew, you know, we grew up Haitian.
That's why, and that's the reason I'm like, woo. Can I say something?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Bro, and I am to admit, because I was that guy.
Yeah.
Why? I was taught
that's what you knew.
That's all I knew.
That's what you knew.
Had it would have been 3-4 years ago, I would have spanked my son for that. But that's because that's what I thought I had to do.
Know. That's what you think.
Had it not been
that's what tradition taught you.
That's what tradition taught me. I got spanked for everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't got marched. Like anyway, I thank God for it, because it kept me, but man, it was still trauma,
To a degree.
To a degree,
yeah.
To a degree, only to
a degree. Yeah.
I believe it was needed.
Yes. And I also believe that that's all our parents knew.
That's all they knew.
That's all they knew.
They knew the real deal of trauma.
Yeah. They knew
Iguas, where their knuckles are dark because they didn't speak French in school.
Right.
They went through yeah. So and just in case for those who don't know what iguas is, from what I know, from what they told me, it's pretty much cow skin.
Yeah.
That they dry up.
Wrapped. Yeah.
Wrapped up, and they beat you with the cow skin. We might as well just put us on the cross too, like Jesus did. I was like, just but so had it would have been like 3, 4, 5 years ago, I would have spanked my kid. Had it not been for the wisdom of a wife.
Ooh,
my wife.
Shout out to the wife. Shout out to
Lalu. I love you, baby. Shout out to my wife. For just because she wasn't raised that way. She was raised. She has other traumas in her life, but shout out to her because had it not been for her to sit me down, like, babe, this is not way. The truth is, I lost my first son like that. My son, that's the first son. He's not in my life like that. I think because of the hardness. Do I think? Yeah, that's another conversation for another day. But the tenderness that I have for my children, even for my wife, for people, I'm not. There's a video out. Back in the day, Revelation.
Yeah.
There's a video out where I'm yelling at the music.
Like real deal yelling at the.
Back to playing the keyboard. Don't do that again.
Are you serious?
Like, I don't want to say it because I know they're gonna look for it. They're gonna find it. But that's because I've been taught to be cutthroat. Whether it's music, I was cutthroat. It was just really hard. It was a hard knock life for me, So, and I thank God for showing me the wisdom to not be that way.
But what brought us here was love.
Yeah.
It's like the language of love, or the redemption that comes from love.
From love, yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, and my parents used to beat. Well, my mom used to beat me. My dad didn't really beat me, but
Your dad didn't beat you?
No, My dad.
My dad beat me the hardest. My mom beat me every day, but my dad beat me the hardest.
When my dad did beat me, he beat me the hardest. But majority of my beatings came from my mother.
Wow.
And I remember as a result, you know, and you know Haitians, you can't say nothing.
No.
It's not like you can fight.
No.
And I just remember, you know, every time I got hit, I bottled it in. I bottled it in. And I bottled it in for years. And I was getting beatings for years.
Would you cry?
Yes, I cried. Yeah, of course. It hurt. Of course I cried, bro. But
oh gosh.
I remember at some point the pressure got so real that I exploded. At some point I snapped. I was 13. I was 13 and I snapped.
At your mother?
At my mother.
Oh, let's talk about this.
I snapped at my mother. I was 13. We were in the car. We were on our way to church.
Uh-oh.
We were on our way to church. And I don't know, my mom was telling me to do something. I don't know, when I get to the church or whatever. I was like, no, I don't feel like it. No, at the time I was playing for the church. I was playing for the grand church, the big church, the grandmas. And I wanted to hang with the youngins. I wanted to hang with people my age or whatever. And my mom was like, no, you're gonna be here, you know? And but it wasn't just a you're gonna be here. It just kept going. It was just like almost like at some point I blacked out. At some point I couldn't hear her anymore and I snapped. And I said, would you just shut up? Yes. I said, would you? And I yelled it. But the car, it's a van, and it's my whole family.
It's a van. Who's driving?
My dad.
Your dad was driving. Whoa.
My dad was driving. I was in the passenger seat. My mom was in the second row behind us. My brothers and sisters were in the last row, and my grandma was, I think, in the last row too. Yeah. And I snapped. And then I was like, you just can't keep your mouth shut. You can't just say one thing and stay quiet. I've had it. Just shut up. Just
I don't mean to laugh, but man, I get it. I so relate. Go ahead.
The car was quiet. The car was quiet. My mother's only rebuttal was to my dad. You gonna let him talk to me like that? That's what. Now in retrospect, I look at how dangerous that could have been because I could have put division between my mom and my dad.
Your mom and your dad.
But my dad sided with me. My dad was like, "Well, yeah, you talking a lot. We just trying to ride to church. Let's just relax." I didn't realize until later, you know, my parents talked it out or whatever. But that was it. That was kind of the turning point for me. At that point, there was no turning back for me because at that point I became ruthless. And when I mean ruthless, my whole personality changed. I went from this nice kid, docile kid, chill kid, to almost like this cold, evil. Yeah. And that went on for years. I would get into fights. I would get into different situations, but all from anger. And I carried the anger for years.
We got similar paths, bro.
For years. I actually didn't get delivered. Well, I won't say delivered, but I actually didn't start changing my ways or back to my loving ways in my mid-20s. In fact, around the time I met my wife. Everybody that I dealt with, from girlfriends, everybody got it. Everybody got it. Listen, there are stories about me at church. Like, early phases of...
We don't need to talk about those things. Like, I get it.
In public, me snapping on leadership. And I'm talking about straight cussing on leadership.
Bro, so hearing this story, May I talk?
Yeah.
Hearing this story,
I think I remember stories you would tell me.
I got marks on my knuckles still to prove it. When I snapped and I almost killed my mom, and I didn't know I was going after my mom.
Wow.
In a van.
Oh,
So I have an issue of being tardy. Everybody knows, yes. I'm doing a lot better with that, but still.
yeah.
And my mom was done with work, and she would let me hold her van or whatever. That's when I started driving.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it there, like, I think 15 or 20 minutes later than usual. So, and my mom could be very hysterical. I don't know if hysterical dramatics. My wife call it dramatics. Not to my wife. My wife don't call my mom that, but she has this word called dramatics. And so I get to she was working at the church as a daycare, and she's on the street on 6th Avenue, right across the street from the Publix on 6th Avenue, 130 something street, right between 135th and 125th.
Gotcha.
The Publix right there.
The
right
Publix,
by Miami. Yeah. So she works across the street at that church at the kids section for the daycare and all that good stuff. Anyway, so she's outside pasting on the sidewalk. Norman was in the car.
With you?
With me. He had his girlfriend's daughter in the car.
Yeah.
And he told me, yo, Harold, look, when you pick up mom, don't say nothing. She's going to get mad. She's going to say something. Actually, I believe Norman made me late, but anyway, we're going to talk about that. He just told me, Harold, don't say nothing. Just take it in. Like, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
It's all right. You know, I just already prepared myself. As I get closer, I see her pasting, and she looks at me with this face, like, as I'm coming in. Mind you, she's crying.
She's angry.
She's crying. That's how. She's crying. She's pasting on the sidewalk. I'm like, oh, man, this is about to be a number right now. I don't know what's about to happen. Mind you, I'm like 15, 20 minutes late. She's crying. Side of the road. She got in the car. She looked at me with a face. She said a few words. I didn't say nothing. I just stayed there. Took the car, got it, and like, make sure everybody put their seatbelt, everybody safe. She hit me one good time. I just took it. I'm just driving. Now I made a U-turn to headed now north on 6th Ave to make a left on 135th to go back home. Mm-hmm. And I get to North Miami Avenue on 135th. Made that right on North Miami. Mind you, through this whole time I'm driving, she's yelling at me. I don't know. She was saying a lot of stuff that wasn't necessary.
Right.
But a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm bottling everything in.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I remember driving. I made that left turn on 143rd. There's a the church, North Miami Church, Adventist Church, right there.
Yeah.
Made that left turn to head to 7th Ave.
Yeah.
Before we hop on that little hill, there's a pole. She hit me one good time, bam, unexpectedly. And I looked at her with a face, and she popped one good time again, bam. And then, like, so now I wasn't thinking straight. Now that I think about it, that's also what almost happened to me a few years ago when I almost killed myself. Anyway, I saw the pole before the hill, and I'm headed to the pole to hit the pole. Right? And she yelled, and I just turned back around. But I kind of was like, I don't know if I was in a daze or I was thinking about something else. I'm about to hit this pole.
Wow.
So she got me right back, right? And we go through the hill. Yeah. I get in front of mom's house. Norman was like, yo, hey, chill. I just looked at her one good time. She popped one good time. Bah! I got out of the car. I shut the car, and I'm looking at her from the outside. And she started yelling. My mind just went click. I don't know what happened. All I saw was red.
Mm.
So now I'm punching the window to get to her. All I want to kill you. Bah, bah,
Jesus.
bah, 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 bah. Punching the crap out of the window. Like I'm trying to get to her. Norman runs out the side and hits me, and not hits me, but you know how the football player chuck me down the block, not all the way down the block, but like the next house.
Yeah.
And he held me down on the ground. I don't know how I got the strength. I picked up Norman and got him off of me. I saw my mom came out the car, still yelling at me, look at you, what type of bum, you're a bum, or you're this, all this name talk, I don't know, I can't remember it. But it just started feeding this.
The anger, the rage.
Anger, the rage, that's the word, rage.
Yeah.
I saw the rock that I had was the brick, you know those the red bricks? You know what I'm talking about, the rectangle brick bricks? I saw one on the side, I ran to it, picked it up, to throw it at my mom. By that time, Norman hit my hand. I still had a chance to throw it, but it missed my mom by a few.
Jeez.
Maybe this much. It hit the floor. And then after that, Norman jumped on me. He jumped on me and he kept me down, and I just kept on punching the ground, looking at her. Look, I'm crying though, but I'm punching the ground. So I got the marks to this day.
Jeez.
As I'm punching the ground, I'm punching the concrete like, so I'm gonna kill you. This is me saying to my mom, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. That day was the last day that my mom and parents saw me. I left the house, never came back. What they didn't know is wherever I had a place to sleep, that's where I slept.
That's what you said.
It could be houses, it could be under the bridge, it could be.
But you wasn't gonna go home. You weren't gonna go back.
As a matter of fact, my sister was my baby sister. I would knock on the window. She would either put me clothes outside. I would take a shower at the back, water hose, whatever, and go back to my life.
Wow. What's up, Mama?
What's up, baby? Oh, you know you give the kids with phones, right?
Give it to her.
Yeah, I'm about to give it to her right now. So, that was the beginning of, and the ending of, and something new happening to me, and
it was a new you. It was a new version.
But I realized now that I'm at my age, about to be 40.
Yeah.
I see where a lot of things came from.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I thank God for the resources that's out there. I thank God for this word love. Thank God for community.
It's big.
Huge, bro.
It's big.
Huge. I thank God for a loving wife. I thank God for the community of friends who really love you. They just love you because of you.
Yeah.
And they want to see you go. They don't need nothing from you. No. And these are the people that help me with my rage, my anger, how I thought, how I think, how I'm thinking at the moment. What am I doing what are you doing? How you're thinking? You would call me like, H, how you doing, bro? How you thinking?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about right now? What's on your mind? And I really got to give him an answer. Because now it's not allowing me to go in La La Land.
Yeah.
You know, and the only thing that keeps me sane is music. But I stopped doing that too. But anyway, to say the point, yes, I get it. We don't hold the rod.
Yeah.
Don't spoil the child. Get it. But man, our culture, man.
Well, but I think there's a balance. For example, like I said, my dad didn't beat me. Well, my dad was the sweet one. My dad was the loving one. And I found to this day, I'm more connected to my dad because of it. It's almost like my dad has become my language of love, or my sign of love, or what love looks like. Because as a child growing up, that's what looked like love to me. So whenever my dad would come home, I'm running to him. Whenever he comes from work, I'm running to him. I would hug him. I would tell him I love him, you know, from childhood. Because my mom was the rage, my mom was always the one enraged, always the one yapping, always, yeah. And then I would look forward to my mom. If my mom hears this, sorry, forgive me, but I would look forward to my mom going to work. Not necessarily because I have freedom, but because I could look forward to peace. Yeah. And the other thing I used to always say was, as parents, when I used to get beat, I used to always say, I would never do this to my kid. I would never do this to my child. And as I grew up, as I was growing up, I used to always say to myself, it's more important to learn what your kid can tolerate. My brother getting beat, my brother can tolerate it. Yeah. My brother could tolerate it growing up because that's his personality. His personality is, oh, I get beat, it's whatever. For me, I get beat, it hurts, and I bottle it in.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You can't beat us both. Me, you gotta punish me another way, because beating me scars me, but it doesn't scar my brother. And I used to always say, as a parent, you should always know which kid can handle the whooping, which kid can handle the talk.
And I didn't know that till later.
I didn't know that either.
Can I get your headphones, please?
Oh, these kids.
Or because she got the phone.
She got he was the headphones.
What time you gotta be out?
Well, I think it starts at 6, so I guess
okay, cool.
About good. Yeah, we're good. You know, I think the title of this should be like "Love," how to love, or we'll figure.
The title of
this right here,
Haitian love.
This right here. This right here. No, not today.
Oh,
it's like what love look like.
But what I really wanted to talk about, because it's really the expression of love. Remember, we were talking about the facade in church.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you couldn't be transparent in church.
No.
It was almost like you had to walk around with this mask, or you had to deal with your struggles because you were afraid of the judgment that won't come from God. Yeah. But it's gonna come from people. Yeah. And as a musician, it's even worse, because as musicians, most musicians are in church. All the church wants from them is music.
That's it.
And they don't really care about them as the individual. No. And so now when the musician is stuck in struggling with this and dealing with that and battling with that, well, I mean, he's doing his job. He's playing. But now when the musician needs healing, he goes looking for girls, probably go looking for drugs, trying to look for different situations, trying to pacify or whatever. And one of the things I kind of wanted to allude to was your journey. And almost like, and we would have this conversation
all the time,
how you'd find more genuine love in the world than you would in church. Easy. And that's what kept you in the world. Most people don't know that story. Yeah. Most people just see Harold and they think, oh, Harold's backsliding or Harold's in dip. But not knowing that Harold himself is a person, and Harold himself needs love. And Harold himself is a human being, he's not perfect, and he's walking the journey. And it's crazy because you were telling me a story of one of the artists you deal with who saw you in a broken state. He saw you in a broken condition. What the church should have been doing in terms of ministering and healing. He said, now as a non-Christian, he said, hey man, let's go. I'm gonna pay you over here.
Let's get you. Let me try to help you get you right.
Yeah.
Let's get you in a different, of course, things was going rough with me and my wife, and living with my in-laws, and we're going through transitions. I came down for, Ford Ministry.
Right.
I moved down Ford Ministry.
Oh yeah. I remember. Yeah, it's true.
Only for things to turn around for the bad. But anyway, they turn around for my good, because today I can say that I love the journey. Yeah. I thank God for the journey. But I can say, man, like, yeah, man, so many different areas, different facets, different portals, different of that. Just talk alone. But should I talk? Should I say some things in Creole too? Should I?
Yeah.
But yeah, there was definitely a musician. Kote bat gen moun bo kote. I didn't have anybody by me. And
I'm gonna have to put subtitles in there.
Subtitles, right?
Yeah.
So, but let me just say this. There was a while after Born to Serve, that ministry, I went through a time of seeing who loved me.
Mm.
My favorite statement was, or my favorite saying was, "He don't love me."
Wow.
Oh, you want me to go over there? Man, you don't even love me, bro. Like, you really want to go over there, bro? Like, get out of here, man. Like, chill out.
Wow.
Now you just using me, bro.
Wow.
There's no way you can love me. You don't. When was the last time? So I started this new thing that I've been doing on my phone just to change the narrative of what I think love should look like, okay?
Right.
And what I'll do is call Word for the Letter. Word of the Day or Letter of the Day. It's been a while since I did it. So I would go to the side of my iPhone, go to contacts, and you have the letter 8 and all the way down to the number sign.
Yeah.
And I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. I'll do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, wherever I land. If it's the middle of the letter C, I'll go to the beginning of C of my contact and call everybody the letter C. Mm. Hey, how you doing? You're on my phone for a reason.
Wow.
I'm just calling to tell you I love you. How you doing? What can I pray for you about anything?
Yeah.
How's your endeavors? How's the family?
Yeah.
And if the phone is disconnected, I'll go ahead and just delete that number. And it's also a way of me pruning, cleansing.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for this thing that I don't know about.
Mm.
I don't know how it looked like. I thought I did.
Right.
But it was crushed by pastors. It was crushed by believers. It was just crushed.
Yeah.
And while it being crushed, I was trying to see if I can create some type of different narrative, of what that would look like.
Yeah.
And of course, it's okay, baby. It's okay. And me, reading the word here and there and not really studying, but I'm hearing a lot of messages, a lot of different messages, from different, people that I follow. And seeing it now, when I started experiencing it, it started with a brother of mine who was my manager for a while, Ludus Charles. Then it trickled down, and that time he saw the trauma that I went through with B2s and that ministry, and he stuck around. That's one aspect. He's a believer, so God sent him to help me with my mind. This is my mentor. Yeah. But this one brother, I'm gonna say his name, and I remember at the same time when he brought me a crazy thing, Senkla. His name is Senkla. People know him as Senkla. Senketwal, DJ Senketwal. His name is Junior. Mm-hmm. It's my brother, Belazaire. He sees me where I am mentally, physically. I'm not producing. I don't care about producing. As a matter of fact, F music.
Wow.
I just want to be. Let me be.
Yeah.
He loves me so much. Like, H, you have so much in you. Let's go to France. So he created a gig to go to France for us to produce, of course. Mm-hmm. But while we're there, we do a gig to make some extra money in our pockets. Yeah. He got one hotel room. Me and him was sleeping in that one room, like two brothers. So the hotels in France, even the lavish, their beds are super small.
Yeah.
He had a small bed, and I had a small bed. So we put our beds together because the TV was like super small too. So we put our beds together, and he's sleeping one way and I'm sleeping another. Like two brothers, like how we Islanders we do it. You know how we do it.
Yeah.
So, and we would walk to the studio.
Yeah.
That would spend 12, 15 hours.
Yeah.
And would walk back for breakfast because we was in the studio all day.
Yeah.
We would come out the studio and it's sunny outside.
Wow.
We'll grab breakfast and we'll go home and go to the hotel and sleep.
Yeah.
This is what we was doing literally 5 days straight in France. I remember going through that, and there was this pastor, I forgot the pastor's name, but this pastor jumped on social media. He says, how could you brother, how could you be saying glory be to God that you finished a day of a successful session when all this dude it talks about sexual intuitions, or
He said that to you?
he said that on my page on social media, on Facebook.
Oh wow.
And I didn't understand what that meant exactly. But one thing I said to him, I didn't know how to respond to. I called my brother Ludus, and he helped me, formulate an answer, but also to help me think about. I said, I gave him a response. What I told him, it doesn't even matter. It wasn't nothing crazy, but I just told him, whatever. I pray that God can show you what it is you can't see, but whatever you do see, pray for me, something like that. Anyway, but had it not been for that dude to love on me at the time he did love on me, at that time, I don't think I would have made it to where I am right now. Maybe I would have. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But what I was looking for, or what I thought church people should have did, this brother has that don't care about church, that don't care about the Lord. He does believe there's a creator. Mm-hmm. He don't care about. He loved me the way, like, dang. He took the bill. Mm-hmm. He sacrificed himself to make, like, yo, let me go make sure you're good. Let's go to a different place, let's make sure you're good for your wife. Let's make sure you're good for your children. Let's do music at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I was doing 12 hours. I can't believe I'm doing 12-hour sessions. It took a lot, though, but because I didn't want to do anything with music. Right. But I made it through. Yes. Mm-hmm. And so today, I'm still performing with him. I'm playing with him. People ask me why. Truth be told, it's all because of love. I love the guy. Mm. He's a real brother. He's a brother. He's been a brother. Of course, it's going to come a time where I have to let that go to do some other works that the Lord want me to do. But doesn't mean that he's not my brother anymore. Mm. He's my brother. As I'm growing, as I'm learning, as I'm experiencing this love of the Lord, especially through my community. Mm. Woo! It's making it easier to make transitions. It's easier to make better decisions. It's just easy. Yeah. It's getting easier. Yeah. So yes, for all you and funny thing is, when I play in the clubs with this dude, and a lot of musicians, a lot of singers who are in the church are there, and a lot of them are young, and I would ask myself, why? What are they looking for? And I realized they don't what they find here. It's not in church, and it's not the drinking. It's they just really want to have fun in the Lord. Mm. They want to have a good time in the Lord, and that doesn't include drinking. That doesn't have to include smoking. It doesn't include this whole sex thing. Mm. Can we have a good time? Like when we come to church, it's boring. Yeah. The youth department, we wheel them in with a little food. Yeah. Play something on TV or give them a subject to talk about. Maybe a little bit of video games, and you go home. Mm. Now, we're dealing today with the young people that's on social media. Yes. Dancing.
That can't avoid social media.
That can't avoid social media.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So they can't avoid it.
There was a concert that I did 2014, March 14, Born and You engineered it at Biaka. And all I saw was like, wait a minute, it's about to be spring break. And I saw that I had this vision. I saw us, when I mean us people in the church, it's literally a club. And we got to give them something to fight, to fight for, to be in versus to leave where they at, to go look for something.
Yeah.
So here it is. We had this. Remember that night?
Yeah, I remember. I know.
Lights. The Haitians culture never experienced it. It was like, dang, club. The pastor stayed behind. Was like, yo, you need to be the youth pastor. I'm like, nope, no sir, that's not the God didn't call me for that. No sir. But I'm talking about folks are jumping off of speakers. And how many kids came to Christ? I think it was 40 or 50 kids that came to Christ.
Really?
What happened to them? I don't know, because I was still a boy. I was not being shepherded. I didn't know.
I don't know, bro. There's some. So remember, we linked up with some of them that are still doing good.
That's still good.
Strong.
Yeah. Yeah. Gabe is one of them. Yeah. Matthew. Yeah. And everything I saw in my vision came to pass. You know, it just was traumatic because I didn't know how to deal with that much pressure.
You didn't know how to handle it. Yeah.
I didn't know how to handle that pressure, so I ran away for 8 years later. Here we are. So that time was, look, we have the clubs here in the spring break. A lot of these kids are believers. They believe in Jesus Christ, but they want to have a good old time. Yeah. So we had food trucks outside. We had a party inside the church. Yeah. We transformed the whole church. Yeah. You had that church bumping.
I did. I remember.
People still talk about that today.
I remember.
And
bro, you remember Ricardo that night?
Ricardo.
Bro, I will never forget that.
See?
That dude he worship acapella, bro.
Acapella, bro. Acapella.
By himself.
Acapella. And that just showed me that they're so hungry.
Very hungry.
Yeah, I could put these things together, yeah. But I don't know how to like maintain these. Yeah. I just gotta put it together. Like, or I thought because that's what I want. That's what I wanted. Right. And, you know, I kind of went off subject a little bit.
No.
Are we still here?
But that's the thing, even for our youth now, because I deal with a lot of young people that essentially deal with trauma. Lots of trauma. A lot of young ladies being sexually violated. A lot of them being raped, being molested, harboring the pain and looking for places for healing and can't even go to church to find the healing. You know, we talk about our traumas. We talk about what we dealt with. This generation, they're dealing with a different type of trauma. And I didn't realize how vast it was, but a lot of young women, a lot of young girls dealing with getting raped at 8, 10 years old. I had someone that reached out to me just recently who told me her sister had gone through a situation where she was raped at 8 and now dealing with identity issues, bro. Where essentially us, the community, and I'm not talking about the church, the entity, but I'm talking about church, the people, church, the kingdom, is supposed to be ministering healing to these people, right? Having that table talk, having that table conversation, and extending the love of God to them and allowing them to experience restoration, allowing them to go through the process. We talk, and then I know a lot about the musicians in this generation. Right. The musicians in this generation, same thing, just looking for a space to call home, to be family. That's why they do these things. They have a family. It may not be always positive, but it's a family.
Not peaches and cream, but it's still a family.
Yeah, it's family. It looks like love, you know. I'll share my personal experience. I went through my healing recently. I went through my healing in the past 2 years, and it has nothing to do. It doesn't have everything to do with where I came from, but it just has to do with over the years not allowing myself to heal from my childhood trauma, going through my adulthood with the trauma, thinking I healed or thinking I'm restored or thinking I'm good, doing ministry, playing, preaching, doing all kinds of things, and still broken. Still broken.
That word.
And not even knowing I'm broken. Not even knowing I need healing. I'm struggling and not even knowing that I need my freedom. And God put me in this church where I am now, Potential Church. And crazy enough, it's not about the sermon. It's not the sermon. It's not the music. It's not the glitz and glamour with the production and all that. It was the people.
See?
It was the people that, like my first encounter with people. It was my first encounter with people that, dang, I think there's some people out here that really care. And I was telling you about Pastor Andre earlier.
Can't wait to meet that guy.
It's crazy because he was one of my first encounters at that church. Of course, when I came in, I came in to produce. I came in to do a job. And I just remember one day, because their vibe is different. So I just remember one day and I asked them, I was like, yo, is this love thing you do, is it real?
Terry, you told me that.
Yeah, I tell you that. I was like, is this love thing real? Because I don't know about this. I couldn't believe it. For me, it was fake. For me, it was like, these people are trying to put on a facade for me, to reel me in.
Yeah.
And then, and I remember him stopping me and saying, I don't know where you came from, bro, but this is who we are. After that, bro, I've gone through experience after experience after experience with them. And everything that they've shown me was nothing but a manifestation of love. They would sacrifice themselves for me.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
Let me revert back. At that moment where I was with his brother and he did all that to go to France.
Yeah.
I never got my healing though. Let me see that. Definitely got love.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was definitely a pillar. He was definitely one of the people that let me love on you because I realize you need that, and let me be a brother to you.
Yeah.
He was definitely a brother, but I never got my healing. Now, when my community changed, what you just said about Pastor Andre and that potential church, I had the same encounter. I want to say for the past 3-4 years, but I've allowed it to really do the work that it needs to do after listening to a message Mike Todd did. By the way, about crazy faith, you do unto others what you want to be done to you, but serve. If you have a gift to serve where you know you're supposed to serve at, and you submit under authority. So that was the sermon that I heard. So I said, okay, I know exactly what God is telling me. I know where to go. Yeah. I went back to these people that I know. That's my brother, my sisters, Pastor Jermaine, Pastor Jonathan Jermaine, and Rebecca Jermaine. So I go back to church and I just sat there. They allow me to sit. They didn't bother me. They just come and check, make sure I'm good. Yeah. Touch me. Are you good? Yeah. Okay. They make sure I'm just there. Wow. Weeks and weeks. I found the guts to say I messed up. This is what I've been living, how I've been living. And I said, yeah, we okay with that, and we all messed up. Okay. That's when I realized I started experiencing real love from these people, and I'm submitting under authority. That's where it really started. I started submitting, and they started pouring into me. They started love.
I need to point this out though.
Go ahead.
You submitted under authority, but you submitted an authority that had a heart for you.
Had a heart for me.
Not for
I'm about to hit you with this pillow.
They had a heart for you and not for themselves.
Yeah.
Or what you could do for them.
That part. Because they needed me,
yeah.
But they didn't use me. They're like, no, sit down. Let's make sure you're here.
Let's make sure you're good.
Let's make sure you're good. Whew. I loved them. Jonathan and Rebecca Jermaine at Vive City Chapel. And that community there. Yeah. The Audras, the Adnas, my wife. Just a holistic situation. I've never. He made me trust pastors again. Ooh. That dude. Every time I see him, he's younger than me. Every time I see him, I want to just give him a hug. Say, I love you.
But that's what
I love you, man.
That's what Pastor. Now I'm not gonna kiss Pastor Andre. But
you know, I think that's how the Italian kiss. They kiss on the cheek. Yeah, I get it.
Real talk, bro. That's what he did for me.
See,
and I, yo. And when I tell you, I ride for him, bro. Yeah. Because of that. I'll ride for them. Yeah.
Because if I'm doing a big event like this event that we're doing on the 29th, and they're in it, they know what's going on. Yeah. And if I miss, I'm like, you guys, I'm sorry I messed up. But it feels good to know that I have the support that, you did, but we got you.
We got you. We're gonna walk with you.
We're gonna walk with you. Yeah. We're gonna walk with you. Yeah. If we could have had that since we was children, or if the church really has that right now, especially the Haitian culture.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, we're gonna leave that right there.
No, but that's big. That's big. But I do believe that's why the Lord joined us together.
That's right.
Because I do believe there's a generation that's following us.
There is.
And they need
right.
the
I believe
same
that.
thing, yeah.
I believe
I
that.
truly believe that.
I don't have to wait to something to happen to you for me to tell you that I love you, bro. You know I love you, right?
Of course. I love you more, bro.
Now, let me tell you something. I love you as much as a man can love a man and still remain a man. That's a lot of love, bro. And I see myself spreading that love that I get from church and my community. I'm now doing it in the world where I go play with singers.
But you see what you said about me. We were at the restaurant. You said you could see the love.
Yeah.
You could see.
I can see. It's evident.
You could see the difference.
Yeah.
You could see the change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could hold on to it. I see it, bro. I see it.
But you know, in this journey, that's what I wish everyone would have. Then I think at some point that can be it. That can become the DNA of the church. But here's one thing that I learned. Because I used to ask the Lord, why isn't the church like this? And the Lord asked me, well, what's the church?
Come on with it. I was just about to say that. Yeah, what's the church?
What's the church? And the Lord clearly told me it's not the four walls you go to.
Come on, man.
It's in you.
That's right.
You are the temple
That's right.
of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You carry my presence.
That's right.
A man will know. They will know you by your fruits.
By your fruits. That's right.
Yeah. They'll know your walk. They'll know your talk. And I'm so glad because hearing you say it, dang Rod, I could see it.
Yeah.
Means that you can see the fruits.
You can see the fruits
of what I'm living.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
And I'm really big. And I think we should say this statement. We're coming up on an hour.
Good.
All right.
Good.
I think I should really say this statement, and I said this upstairs. In this journey of love, I've learned not to live for myself. And then I said this to you upstairs. I said, H, I'm here for you.
Yeah, you did.
This is what love is. It's not what I can get or what I can do or what can make me shine. I want you to shine. And I'm going to do everything I can so you can shine.
And it's going to reciprocate.
And vice versa.
See?
This is how it becomes a superpower. This is how it becomes a superpower.
Man, I've learned that from my life coach, Jeremy, dude, he's in season, and he's been loving it from the same.
Yeah.
He's been like, I'm not doing this for me.
Yeah.
I want you to be good.
Yeah.
It's not about me.
Yeah.
If we can do that for one another.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting, bro.
We are starting. We're starting. So, just to close out, because
just to close out, it's already coming to an end.
It's already coming to an end.
This is great.
But I do believe, I believe what people are going to begin to see, or what people are going to start to see between me and you, or start to experience between me and you, are the results of years and years of friendship and years of relationship. They'll actually just get to see it. With the work that we're about to do, with everything that's about to come out, with everything that we're about to do. But we definitely need to push December 29th. December 29th, what's happening?
It's Bring Life Tonight. Originally it was supposed to be Bring Life Tonight Life, but no.
Yeah.
Bring life tonight. That night we're going to bring life to the dry bones, to your businesses, simply by just loving on you, allowing you to cry.
Yeah.
You know, I see a place where there's no chairs, okay? No chairs. Bring your blanket. Bring your children.
Yeah.
Lay on the floor. Some of y'all gonna come in there. I saw people coming in there. You're tired. You're not weak, but you're just fatigued. You just can't. You're over it.
You don't have it. You don't have any more.
Just lay down.
Yeah.
We'll be worshiping for you.
Yeah.
Get some of that. Wake up in worship. Go to sleep in worship.
Yeah.
Wake up in the word. Go to sleep in the word. That's all that's gonna happen in that day. And afterwards, man, I'm gonna have one hour of afterglow. But this afterglow is gonna be a party. DJ, Frosties, food.
Yes,
like,
sir.
Just allow yourself to live. Like,
Come enjoy.
come and just be you.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what's happening
Yeah.
on December 29th. And
And we say it's not necessary to bring a mask. You don't have to bring a mask.
fast.
Bring
I say fast. I meant to say facts.
be yourself. Come
Be
as you
yourself.
are.
Come as you are. You are not allowed to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to pray in your native tongue or your heavenly tongue. You're supposed to do that. You are not crazy.
Yeah.
Let's bring life to everyone.
Yeah.
Everything, everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
It's gonna be quiz.
I know you about to end, right?
Huh?
You about to end right now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Love you, I love you, I love you, Lord, today. I thought I should go there since we're talking about love. Because you care for me in such a special way. That's why I praise you. I lift you up and I magnify your name. That's why my heart is filled with praise. My mind, my heart, my soul belongs to you. You paid the price for me, way back on Calvary. That's why I praise you. I lift you up and I magnify your name. That's why I praise you. I lift you up and I magnify your name. That's why I praise you. I lift you up, yeah. And I magnify your name. And that's why my heart is filled. That's why your heart is filled. That's why our heart is filled. Yeah. We want to share it, oh God. That's why my heart is filled. Yeah. That's why my heart is filled with praise. Oh God, hallelujah, hallelujah. Heart is filled with love and praise. It's filled with praise. Yes, oh God. Yes, oh God. My heart is filled with praise. That's why my heart is filled, 'cause you loved me first, oh God. I love you 'cause you loved me first, oh God. You were there for me. Way back on Calvary. That's why my heart is filled. That's why our heart is filled. That's why his heart is filled. That's why Rodlin's heart is filled. That's why my heart is filled. That's why my heart is filled with praise.
Yeah, man.
It's great.